Hi, welcome to Fluketronic. Up now we're going to take a quick look at two video cameras. I've got both of these. This is a Zoom Q8. It's been my trusty recorder for the past several years, and I've just got in a new DJI Pocket2. This won't be a complete test. This is just going to be a quick comparison of the audio capabilities of these two cameras. And what I want to do is compare the raw sound and then the processed sound from both cameras and see how they compare and how they can be used for music production. Now, both these cameras are at about the same level, same distance from the microphone, so we'll be able to compare levels and noise levels and all that kind of stuff. Now, this is not exactly a pristine environment. We've got some work going on outside, dishwasher running in the next room and so forth. So that'll be good too, because we can kind of compare ambient noise straight off the mic. So I'm going to do 3 samples. We'll do a vocal sample and we'll run through that with the various options. And then we'll do a quick instrument sample with a low Native American style flute and a high whistle and see how that does. This is the vocal sample. This is my normal speaking voice. Take a listen to the ambient sounds between the words and then underneath the words. This is the vocal sample. This is my normal speaking voice. Take a listen to the ambient sounds between the words and then underneath the words. This is the vocal sample. This is my normal speaking voice. Take a listen to the ambient sounds between the words and then underneath the words. This is the vocal sample. This is my normal speaking voice. Take a listen to the ambient sounds between the words and then underneath the words. This is the vocal sample. This is my normal speaking voice. Take a listen to the ambient sounds between the words and then underneath the words. This is the vocal sample. This is my normal speaking voice. Take a listen to the ambient sounds between the words and then underneath the words. Okay, so let's talk about the results and give some thoughts and conclusions. So what I'm going to do is listen back through all the samples, make some comments, and we'll cut this down and come back with some final thoughts. Okay, so the vocal samples, the first thing that strikes me is that the DJI has a much lower noise level. And the noise level gets really obvious when you level up, because all that's doing is raising the overall level. So you're raising the noise level as well. Now, when I get to my processing chain, the Q8 still sounds pretty good. This is my normal processing chain with a Bruce-free noise reduction, high-pass filter, fairly heavy compression on the vocal, and then a little bit of leveling. Still, I think the DJI comes out cleaner just because of that lower noise level that it starts with. I was also struck how quiet both samples were just for the vocal. Okay, the flute sample. Again, the raw sample is just a little bit less noisy with the DJI. So it must have a much higher roll-off value. I haven't seen any charts for frequency response, but it's obviously cutting off a lot more lower frequencies. Again, that's obvious with the leveling samples. It's still cleaner on the DJI. Still enough background noise there that I don't think it's going to be particularly usable without processing still. Now for the flute processing, again, it's the same chain. Compression is not as heavy, and the high pass filter is going to be a little bit higher. So again, the Q8, completely reasonable, completely usable with a little bit of processing. And after processing the flute sample with the DJI is pretty close. Okay, the whistle sample. So the Q8 was just pretty loud out of the box. Already had a loudness level of -13, which is already louder than kind of the target video loudness level, which is usually about -14. And the DJI is quieter, a little bit quieter, still louder than the flute or the vocal, of course. Then for the leveling, I actually had to turn down the Q8 sample to get it in line with the DJI sample. So the noise is a little bit less apparent here because I didn't have to boost it at all. And I didn't have to boost the whistle sample very much. Full processing again, Q8, very usable. It's what I'm used to. Another thing here in the compression step, I'm using the Pro C2 compressor. And it also has a setting where you can adjust the stereo width as it's doing the compression. So all the compressed samples have that on. And that just helps with the single instruments here. It usually helps to kind of focus the sound and let it fit into the mix a little bit better. Once again, I'm not hearing a whole lot of difference between the processed samples between the Q8 and the DJI. Okay, so overall conclusions, I think both cameras will give you pretty good audio. They both need a little more processing to really be usable in the context of a mix. I guess some folks might be able to get away, especially with a closed mic kind of vlog like this, might feel comfortable getting away with just doing no processing to the DJI sample like I'm using right now. But for my purposes, I still would want to go through the noise reduction and leveling and all my normal processing chain. So overall, both cameras are very good, very usable. I think overall the DJI probably will have better audio for what I'm using it for. So I'm very pleased with the purchase. So we'll be using that in upcoming videos. Not quite ready to get rid of my Q8 because I think it probably does offer a few things like a wide angle view and just as a secondary source could still be useful. So I think I'll be using both cameras for a while, and we'll see what happens, and you'll see the results coming up on future Fluketronic videos. So thanks for watching, and I hope this helps.